How's everybody doing? It's Paul from Magpie 24/7, out and about with a view from the van, recapping yesterday's 2-0 defeat at St James's Park against Arsenal. Unlucky Newcastle, but I mean to say, look, it isn't all that bad. It isn't all that bad. What's changed? What has changed before kick-off to now? I'm going to go through that on today's video. Clearly, it is disappointing to lose, especially at home, but look, we're in May. That was our 5th defeat of the season. We still remain in 3rd in the Premier League, courtesy of Manchester United. And I think Manchester United losing against West Ham, who have had a difficult season, is far more of an alarming result for them than us slipping up 2-0 against a very good Arsenal team, who still, albeit maybe theoretically, are still fighting for the Premier League title with Manchester City. You know, we have come from a team involved balls deep in relegation battles, season in, season out, to, you know, fighting it out for the Champions League. Arsenal have come from a team who, courtesy of all or nothing last campaign against Newcastle, they slightly missed out on the Champions League, so they've come literally a couple of rungs up the ladders. We are talking a massive jump, a massive leap in the performance levels and in what Newcastle United have done. So there's so much to be positive about. It's been such great seasons with great football that we've played. We've scored an absolute shed load of goals. We've looked really entertaining on the eye. It's been the return to, you know, the glory days for much of the season, and we're all a little bit disappointed after yesterday. However, like I touched on, we're still 3rd in the table, and we went into the game yesterday knowing that we needed 2 more victories to get Champions League football. We still only need the 2 more victories, and we've got games coming up, winnable games against teams who we are capable of blowing away. I mean, you look at this Leeds game coming up, and it's, you know, if you look at the Everton game and the Everton build-up, it's almost like-for-like situations, and you know, I'm of huge confidence and huge belief in this group that they can go down to Ellen Road. Yes, it's a difficult place to go down there atmosphere-wise, but so was Woodison Park, and we can go down there, we can match them for desire, for effort, for blood, sweat and tears, and then at the end of the day, like against Everton, who didn't lose on certainly hard and effort, you know, I just think it comes down to that we will show our superior quality over the 90 minutes. That's what's happened down at Woodison Park, and that's what I think again can happen down at Ellen Road. So for me, there's just so much to be positive about. Yes, Liverpool, yes, Turkey Teeth are on a great roll. Great for them, yeah. You know, you got one of them victories by fucking diving, by cheating, by robbing Fulham. That's what it was. Yeah, even the referee admitted it shouldn't have been a fucking penalty. So, you know, let them have it. Let them go on their little run. They've waited too late. You know, if it was 10 games of the season to go, 15 games of the season to go, I'd be worried at this point. Of course, you would be, you know, with an informed Liverpool team and the players that they've got at their disposal. However, you know, we've got a couple of games of the season left, unless you're Brighton, who've got like, what, half a fucking season. But we're sitting there, and I honestly think 2 victories is still all it takes, given the fact that our goal difference is almost like an extra point. They're not catching that goal difference up. It's still very much in Newcastle United's hands, and, you know, we have gone through a decade of shit, a decade of pissing against the fucking wind, you know, with Lee Charnley and Mike Ashley running a circus, a fucking, just literally a freak show. And now, you know, so professional on every single level of the club. The ownership is so classy, it's so much of an enjoyable place to go to, St James's Park. And yeah, the result wasn't great yesterday, but we live to fight another day. The atmosphere is absolutely fantastic. The displays are out of this world. The positivity is great, and we are 2 victories away from the Champions League. And you just have to pinch yourself and remind yourself of where we were and how close we are. to securing it. And if we get the 2 victories, it doesn't matter. Whatever Turkey Teeth does. Let Manchester United and Liverpool squabble it out and have their little handbags at 10 paces and everything else that they want to do. Yeah, let them squabble about who has the worst owners, fucking Liverpool or the Norwich supporters, at Old Trafford. Let them do all of that. We'll just go about our business. Eddie Howe was like, look, already we're starting to think towards Leeds. Kieran Trippier spoke about it after the game. One of them days we had the opportunities, we didn't take our chances. They did. Small margins, but we move on. And just like after the Aston Villa game, where people were disappointed and maybe some people were like worrying that the wheels are going to come off or whatever. There was the reaction, there was the response straight after the game. And it was just like, yeah, there's no need to worry. The people that we have got in charge of the club, whether it's the ownership, whether it's the coaches, Gateshead, Guardiola, Mad Dog, Eddie Howe, doesn't matter. The players, even the players not involved in the team, even the players who want to be off, the likes of Matt Mitchie and stuff like that, everybody cares. Everybody wants to do their very, very best for Newcastle United. There will be a reaction and there will be a response. I've no doubt about it. Everybody is just trying their best for Newcastle United. That's the right away from the fans, the players, like I say, coaches, the ownership. In this country, the ownership. Abroad in Saudi Arabia. It's across the spectrum. The club is in such good hands that there just is no need to worry. It is exactly the same as before. 2 wins, 3rd. We're still 3rd now. It's even moved a little bit away from just Champions League. People are now saying, well, third. It's great. Isn't it fantastic, after all that we've been through, to be like thinking so positively, to continuously looking up? We've not once looked down this season, and even last season, we were even, like, towards the end, we were still looking down, and, you wanted it to be rubber stamped, you wanted it to be everything certain that we weren't going to be going down. We've not looked over our shoulders once this campaign. And to jump from relegation candidates up to potential Champions League is absolutely and utterly fantastic. We saw last season Arsenal. They couldn't make the step up from sort of around about 5th, 6th up into the Champions League places. They found that too difficult. And this season they've gone another small step to go from trying to get into the Champions League to fighting it out for the Premier League. Newcastle literally just whipped up the rule book and said, yes, the ownership have got this business plan, they've got this clear route between where they are now and where they want us to be as one of the literally elite clubs in the country and in Europe. Eddie Howe has tore up the business plan, has tore up the roadmap, and has took us a giant step. He's probably took us 2 or 3 years worth of expected development in one season. So we are probably going at maybe 3 times the speed of what was expected at the time. So it's absolutely unbelievable. And looking at it in that context, looking at it and thinking there's 1 game less, we're still 3rd, and we still just need only 2 more victories to be able to absolutely 1,000% rubber stamp this. It's great. It's absolutely fantastic, and Gunners fans can take the piss. But at the end of the day, yesterday we weren't at our absolute best. I think we've learnt lessons from that game. We have missed Sean Longstaff, there's no doubt about it. But on another day, it could have easily have gone and swung to our favour, and it's just small margins that have been the difference in that game. That is it. And next season's game, I'm already looking forward forward to them. They should be very competitive, they should be very, very keenly competed for. And that's what you saw yesterday. There was 2 teams absolutely trying to give it everything. However, at the end of the day, Arsenal, who have been there and been around the European spots for so long, they have a better squad. on our day, with all of our players fit and available, we have a great team. We've probably got 12, 13, 14 players of real absolute class. But then after that, the squad starts to show its cracks. Yesterday, no Sean Longstaff, and we haven't got somebody else like that who can come in and be that Geordie glue, that Geordie DNA in the midfield, who can do the off the ball stuff, who can cover all the grass in the way that he does, allowing the other players, your Willings, your Brunos, your Joe Lintons, to go and do what they do best. They had to alter their game. They've had to change what their natural game would be to be able to cover for a missing Sean Longstaff. And it is a big loss, and people might laugh and say, is Sean Longstaff that much of a loss? Yes, he is. There's no doubt about it. I've said this all season long. He loves the club. He's got that affinity. He's got that connection. And he may be not the best on the ball. However, it's the off the ball stuff that he does that can be an absolute killer. Because I think the likes of Willick and stuff like that, they're far better footballers than what Sean Longstaff is. But you still need that Sean Longstaff in there doing what he does, closing the space down, making sure that things don't happen, and then just literally giving the ball to the more talented players to get forward to be able to affect the game in the final third. We're missing that at the moment, and I think that's got to be one of the big looks and one of the big finds for next campaign, is somebody in that CDM role, somebody who can operate alongside Sean Longstaff, can be rotated in and out, so that we have squad options, we have squad depth. Because what we've got is, in some areas we're overloaded, and in some areas we're severely depleted. Clearly lost an extra midfielder as well in January, in John Joe Shelby. That didn't help the situation. But when you've got like 4 or 5 left backs, but you haven't got enough central midfield cover, these are problems. And when you come up against the top teams, when it's a tight encounter, it's the small fine margins that will be the difference between 3 points and a point, or a point and no points, as it's turned out to be the point. Personally, I think Eddie Howe will have learnt a lot from yesterday. The Isaac Wilson, can they play together? Well, I think it's all about the right situation, and it's one thing to do it against the likes of Southampton, who are again fighting for their absolute lives in the league, and are probably low on quality, to be honest. But it's a absolutely different kettle of fish when it comes to playing one of the top teams in the Premier League, who are fighting it out for the title in May after a very, very good season. So he will have learned stuff. I don't think we'll see Isaac and Wilson up front in the next game. I think there will be a few changes here and there, and he'll look to try and tighten it up, because I think during that game, one of the differences that there was is that we were a little bit more open at the back. We were a little bit not like our normal selves. Again, it's another game that we've not kept a clean sheet, and we're on a bit of a run. But again, it's still about finding that happy medium. We went through a period of games where we weren't scoring. Eddie adjusted things because we were keeping clean sheets. We were tight at the back. That meant we were scoring more goals, but we were letting the odd goal or two away at the back. And in that game, when we haven't scored and the defence is creaking a little bit, it is going to cause you trouble. So no doubt, Mad Dog, Gateshead Guardiola, Eddie Howe will get their heads together with the rest of the coaching team, the rest of the analysts, and be literally peeling through it all and using it as a learning exercise to be able to come back stronger. There will be a response. There always has been a response to adversity. Look at the League Cup final, the disappointment there, coming straight back. The wheels could have fallen off the bus. It could have all fallen to bits after that, but it hasn't, because they care, because we've got the right type of people, the right type of characters at our football club. So yeah, I expect a response against Leeds. We still need 2 victories. If we go down to Ellen Road and get the 3 points like we did at Woodison Park in similar situations, we'll be 1 victory off, and we can do that at home at St James's Park. Absolutely cracking. And then, like I say, everybody else, they can have their little squabbles between themselves, because it will literally just be irrelevant at that point. Because we'll have qualified for the Champions League, and an interesting, intriguing summer will no doubt then fold out with regards to squad building, with regards to players moving on, players coming in, and then we'll start to build excitement up for another season. And then it's about your small improvements here and there all over the park, about getting things better and progressing as a football club. Because, like Eddie Howe said after the game, we're not just here to compete with these or to compete with anybody else. We are here. Ultimately, the end goal for the ownership, the roadmap says to be the best domestically, the best, one of the best in Europe. That is what the ownership wants. That's what the plan is. That's why we're bringing in all these extra coaches. That's why we're bringing in all these best in class, with regards to youngsters, best in class executives to be able to drive the change on that we need at the club after years and years and decades worth of starvation and neglect. So exciting change is happening. It is exciting times, and it's still a case of the power of positivity, because it is a fantastic time to be a Newcastle United fan. This is literally a small, an ant's knob worth of a blip on the bigger, scheme of things. We are so much further ahead in this roadmap to where the ownership want us to be than what they expected and what we ever expected. Still maintain that even the Europa Conference League would have been a great step forward this season compared to the previous woes and worries about relegation. So let me know about that down below. Let me know who do you think is going to start against Leeds. Will he bring in the likes of St Maximin? Will Anthony Gordon maybe and his competitive qualities get him a nod in midfield? Will it be Miggy playing alongside Jacob Murphy, or is it time to maybe change that one up as well? Let me know in the comments. Midfield, is it time to bring Elliot Anderson in to keep that Geordie DNA, that Geordie glue going strong in the central midfield area? Is it time to give him some minutes down at Ellen Road, or is that not the type of atmosphere that we need to be bringing him into? Let me know what you think about that one down below, but it's certainly one that I'll be discussing on the preview for the Leeds game. Maybe the idea of putting Elliot Anderson in there just so we can free up the other midfielders to go about their normal day-to-day things that they are absolutely excellent at doing. We'll put this one in the history books. Look, when you keep continuously hitting the posts and hitting the woodwork and stuff like that, you have fantastic opportunities, great opportunities to score. You do just have to sit there and think, it's just not our day today. It's not our day today. They've tried everything. The players give it their all. There's no doubt about that. And for all of the other fans who are coming out of the woodwork trying to take the piss, I've had Evertonians trying to take the piss. Honestly, concentrate about your own club, who are absolutely in a right mess and staring relegation in the face. You need to start worrying about Rotherham away next season and not what's going on Tyneside. So give your fucking head a shake about that. Honestly, it's just unbelievable. Some of the absolute shit. People just think it's just try and take the piss, just try and jump on the bandwagon, try to be funny, try to be clever or whatnot. You're an Everton fan, concentrate on your own fucking club. You absolute bunch of disgraces. Talk about fucking FFP and cheating and oil money and this, that and the other, and Russian money and so on and so forth. Honestly, you've no place to talk about anything to do with Newcastle United at the end of the day. But yeah, looking forward, forgetting all that shit, looking forward to this game that's coming up against Leeds United. Of course, it's Eddie Howe against Sam Allardyce. Sam Allardyce returning to football, putting his speedos away. Fuck me, bring me bastard breakfast up. But Sam Allardyce returning to the dugout, returning at Leeds. They had a 2-1 defeat. That doesn't tell the whole story of that one. Again, people think, he managed to get a 2-1 against Manchester City in his first game. It could have been 6-7 or 8-1. It really was seat of your pants stuff. So look, this is still a Leeds United team who aren't doing great, are low in confidence, and are in a real scrap for their absolute lives. So look, we go down there, and I think our quality will show. It will be the difference maker. I have no doubt about it. So looking forward to that. Positive towards that. Positive that we're third. Positive that we're still just 2 victories away from the most unlikeliest third position I can't imagine many people had that bet on. You know, once you go through these prediction videos at the end of the season, I can't imagine there's many people who predicted Newcastle United finishing third and getting to a cup final. Cannot, nah. So yeah, remain positive, and we'll be back on Magpie 24/7 with a preview later on in the week. The build-up starts towards that huge game. So in the meantime, subscribe to Magpie 24/7. Take care, keep it tuned, and I'll speak to you later.